Namaskaram, a very, very good evening to all respected students. Hope all of you are doing good. I welcome you all to the session 5, part 2 of the secrets of the sixth Bhava. See, in the last class, we were covering about the sixth Bhava Lord in the Ashtama Sthana. Right? So now we are going to go and continue with that. So let me just connect the iPad to the Mac. Meanwhile, if you all have already casted the horoscope, please keep that so that we can continue with it. So sixth Lord in the eighth, right? So sixth Lord in the eighth, obviously we have Budha Bhagwan in the Ashtama Sthana. That is where we were covering. Just a minute, let me. Okay. So Budha Bhagwan in the Ashtama Sthana. Am I audible to all of you? Am I loud and clear to all of you? Yes? All of you? Okay. Yes. Now, in the last point number 13, I had mentioned that a few of them will be in professions related to medicine. Very few of them. You can put that in bracket. Now, how do you decipher or how do you find that, who would be in a medical profession? Who will have a big hotel? Remember, I told you the sixth Bhava Lord in the eighth also indicates people who own big hotels, big buildings. The reason and logic I will give you, which also means you need to connect the Graha, which is being aspected or where it is aspecting, which means if the sixth Bhava Lord in the horoscope happens to be in the Ashtama Bhava, from that Ashtama Bhava, where is he aspecting? Right? So obviously, when he is aspecting somewhere, one, is there a Graha there? So based on that, you actually go about and create further more permutations and combinations. That I will teach you as we move on to the advanced classes. But first, you should be able to tell all of this, because if you don't have this, you won't be able to go about and predict the rest of the points. Similarly, you also need to keep this in mind. The sixth Bhava Lord is in the Ashtama Sthana, Vrschika Rashi, which is also called as a mute sign, M-U-T-E, mute sign. So write down point number 14 in continuation to what we discussed in the previous class. There would be people in the family who had delayed speech, else they would have stammering or stuttering issues in the family. Right? So people who are joining in new, please write sixth Lord in the Ashtama Sthana. Where would he aspect? He would directly aspect the second Bhava. Where is he from his own house? He's in the third. So it is just on this, the basis of which we are coming out with a host of predictions. Beautiful predictions, wonderful predictions, point blank to the dot predictions. Okay? So one person would say, sir, in my family, there was a delayed speech. My son or me myself, right? I started speaking late, or I had stuttering issues, or somebody in my family had stuttering issues, delayed speech. All of this will be there. So all this will come for the sixth Bhava Lord in the Ashtama Sthana. Next, point number 15. There is an accident. We will face an accident. Remember, we have what? We have 6 and 8. So accident is there, which also means 6, 8 is there, and the third is also there. The eighth becomes the third. Am I correct? So point number 16. They will undergo a surgery. They would undergo a surgery. Number 17. By the age of 48, you can write by the age of 48 or within the age of 48, they will go through an abject poverty, an abject poverty. And after the age of 48, they will find or get development. So point number 17, you write, within the age of 48, they will go through a very dry phase in life. One moment will be there in their life where they will go through an extremely dry phase. They will have some form of shortage or the other. Then point number 18, you can write, post the age of 48, they will have development in life. So these are all one-word answers that you need to give immediately as soon as you look into the horoscope. The moment you look into the horoscope, when will this person develop? He will develop after the age of 48. What will happen? Before 48, you should be careful because you will go through an extremely dry phase. You will go through an extremely low phase. So be careful with your finances. Be careful with your money. This is what you should tell a person. Right? Next point, if Ashubha grahas are associated, which means even if one Ashubha graha, which means malefic graha is associated, number 19, will lose ornaments. In bracket, you can write abharana. Will lose ornaments. Why will he lose ornaments, or why will she lose ornaments? Because we have, what do we have? We have 3 and 8. 3, which indicates abharana, jewelry. 8, which indicates what? Loss or theft. Right. So this is how it is. If a strong Mars or Mangala is associated, next point, if a strong Mars or Mangala is associated, point number 20, will have work in electricity department, will find or have work in electricity department. So what is the connection between the 6th Bhava Lord and the 8th being associated with the strong Mangala or Mars and one person getting a job in the electricity board or the electricity department? The 8th indicates danger, right? 6th indicates Udyoga. So when you go to any nearby electricity transformer or some place where they're supplying huge quantity of electricity, what do you see? You see a human skull. You see a symbol of a human skull with the crossbone. Am I correct? So that is the symbol of something to do with danger pertaining to electricity. Right? So 8th is equal to danger. Mars, Mangala is equal to electricity. Right? So they will have a job in the electricity board or the electricity department if a strong Mangala is associated with this combination. So they will be in the EB office. Next point, if a weak Mangala, a weak Mars is associated with this combination, if a weak Mangala is associated with this combination, else, even if Ashubha grahas are associated with this combination, number 21, will face an electrical accident. Will face an electrical accident. Right? So the moment you just combine 6, 8, 2, 3, and the moment you actually go about and combine the Karakatwas, you will be able to go about and get points after points after points. That's the reason I tell you, as I complete each and every portion, you need to give a little bit of gap, a few pages of gap, because you can come up with your own points. And how do I come up with my own points? Obviously based on the revision of the Graha Bhava Karakatwas and the Rashi Karakatwas, PAX1 and PAX3. And obviously, as you keep interacting with your clients, interacting with your family members, interacting with people near, dear, far away, with regard to a consultation or with regard to just studying whatever I have taught you, you will find so many things to fill in, right? Point number 21. The point number 22. There will be constraints, else discontent pertaining to the wife's earnings, pertaining to the wife's earning. So either the earnings of the wife, there will be constraint pertaining to the earnings of the wife. The wife will not be able to make that much of an earning. This will be one. Else what will happen? What could happen is that she will be in a job, but there would be a delay, there would be a development pertaining to what? Pertaining to her progress. Here, what I mean by wife here is obviously I'm referring to the spouse here. So anybody who has the sixth bhava lord in the Ashtamasthana, or all those who have Mercury also in Vrschika Rashi, there will be constraints pertaining to the spouse's earning. Else there would be what? Dissatisfaction, discontent, unhappiness pertaining to what? Pertaining to the job or the job role, right? Next. Now you need to keep this in mind. The sixth bhava lord is in the Ashtamasthana. Okay. Where is he immediately aspecting? He is aspecting the second from the eighth. Underline the words here. He is aspecting the second, okay, but he is aspecting from the eighth. This is also something that you need to keep in mind, right? So keeping that in mind, write down the next point. Will have bad habit or will have a secret family. One, drinking or smoking, something will be there. Or there will be some form of a relationship outside the consummated relationship, right? Or the legal relationship. Now the question here can be, sir, will it be one or will it be both? See, ideally when you're predicting or ideally when you're approaching your customer or your client, you should tell either this or that, right? Because just imagine a scenario where a husband and wife are coming and you're obviously predicting for the husband and you're telling the husband, do you drink or smoke? First of all, is anybody going to accept to the fact that he is drinking or smoking in front of his wife? No. Then where are you going to ask, is there something to do with a secretive relationship, right? Or a illicit relationship or a secret family? So obviously you cannot ask that. But you should be able to maturely convey that, you know what, within the family, there can be a little bit of problems. Be careful, right? Some people, they will have both of them. So for some people, it is a package, right? There would be a bad habit also. And there would be a secret family also. For some people, it could just be one. But whichever way it is, there is something to do with what? There is something to do with a bad habit, which you should convey in a proper way. Let's say you go and tell a person, sir, there is a possibility that you will have a bad habit. So what would he say? He will be with his wife. He will say, no, I'm a gentleman. How can I have a bad habit? Then if you closely look into his shirt pocket, right, there would be one Will's cigarette packet inside his shirt pocket. Now, you've observed that, but you should act like you have not observed that. And you should just say, okay, sir, just be careful. This is how it is, right? So this is the way you should have a certain amount of maturity. And let us say he's stubborn and telling that, you know what, no, not at all. I don't have any bad habit at all. Then immediately you should be able to go about and deviate from that and tell, do you have a problem pertaining to your teeth? Do you have a problem pertaining to your eyesight? So that is the direction which you should go into. So this is the way you should have the maturity in order to go about and navigate, especially when you're facing families, two members in the family, Or even if a rule does not come, where is it heading towards? Because remember, from the 8th, he is aspecting. So 8th, what does it mean? 2, what does it mean? So you need to create the connecting dots, right? This is how it is. Number 19. Getting an LIC loan is good for them. So if they can actually go about and take a loan from the LIC corporation, good. Or something to do with the insurance related loan, that also would turn out to be good. Why? Because here we have 6th, which indicates loan, 8th, which indicates insurance. Here we are discussing about the Life Insurance Corporation of India. So in your area, in your region, whichever country you hail from, you can actually go about and connect the kind of institutions. Now, here you also need to keep this in mind. The 6th lord, which indicates loan, is in the Ashtamasthana, which indicates what? Gifts, insurance. Gifts means we are not talking about a gift here. We are talking about insurance, which is we are talking about something which you get in the form of insurance policy, loan from insurance companies. He is aspecting the 2nd. So can he take loan from the LIC 1 time, or can he take loan from the LIC 2 times? 2 times he can take loan from the LIC or insurance company. That's the reason I told you in the beginning when I started about the 6th lord and the 8th, they will have barriers or obstacles in paying their LIC dues, LIC policy 2 times, right? So 2 times they will have a barrier in going about and paying the LIC policy. So all these things which I'm telling you, all these rules which I'm telling you, you apply and you would be flabbergasted, or you would literally flabbergast people on how they react to you, and you yourself will be surprised as to how you can make certain wonderful predictions, which are obviously different also like this, right? And this is not a big thing. This is very, very easy. And if you just wait for 2 more months, the speed at which you make these predictions will quicken. There will be a swiftness. There will be a quickness. Because the moment you start revising again and again and again and applying, interacting with more clients, then you will get the speed. Which also means, by the way, right now, while we are talking itself, you should have started giving consultations to people. And you will get a complete grip and confidence while you actually go about and give consultations, because you will be point blank, straightforward, and just get to the chase and just get to the point, right? So all of you should practice compulsorily, because that is when you would get the fruit, you will get the benefit, or you will enjoy the way you are actually going about and learning the subject. And to be very frank and honest, the flow with which I'm taking classes, the way in which I'm directing all of you, considering all aspects, I'm just introducing concepts one by one, bit by bit, in a correct format. And I'm doing all of this keeping in mind, I'm just putting myself on your shoes, trying to see how you can become the best possible astrologer. Which means, if under my tutelage, under my mentorship, there is a 101% guarantee that you should be the most accomplished astrologer in whichever area you are. It's like 100% guarantee. You should be doing that. Because if you cannot do that under my tutelage, I'm giving you a 100% guarantee, you cannot do it under anybody else's tutelage, because the simplicity which is involved in the way in which I'm guiding you, which means the simplicity applies to people who've been practicing for years and years together. So if there is an astrologer who's been practicing for 9-10 years, he will also benefit greatly by this teaching. He will also be, daily thanking me. Sir, where were you all this while? And a person who has just started, been practicing for 2 years also, he will also be making brilliant predictions. So both of them are kept in equal levels without any form of a partiality. So if under my tutelage, you're not able to become a good astrologer, then under whose tutelage you're going to become a good astrologer? So please make use of each and every word, each and every sentence that I'm telling you. It's like this joke in a Kaundamani film. So people in the southern part of India and Tamil Nadu, they should be aware of this comedy. So Kaundamani and Sendil will be laughing at Kaundamani because a girl would have rejected Kaundamani and Sendil would be laughing. And Kaundamani will tell Sendil, why are you laughing so much? He will say, Anne, this girl itself has rejected you, Anne. Which other girl will marry you then? Which means this girl itself has rejected you. Which other girl will marry you? Which also applies here. If under my teaching you're not able to become the best astrologer in your area, then under whose teaching you will become a good astrologer or a best astrologer, right? Okay. Now, getting to some of the doubts that you have, and I will also continue with a few points. See, the 8th bhava, the reason I told you big hotels, remember, the 8th bhava indicates big rice mills where they grind raw rice. So big hotels, big buildings, because remember the 8th is Vrschika, which has many legs. So the 8th bhava indicates lodge cum restaurant. So you will find places, you will find there's a lodge on top. There is a place of residence on top where people can book in the hotel and stay. And down there would be a hotel, restaurant. So that is the Ashtama bhava. So all of this can work out for them very well. Next, if Ashubha grahas are associated, just a minute, write down, dog will bite them if Ashubha grahas are associated, they will have a dog bite or a sting from a scorpion or centipede, snake bite, beetle will sting them, or insects will sting them. Not just for those who have the 6th bhava lord and the 8th associated with Ashubha graha. Let's say the Vrschika Rashi in your horoscope is afflicted. So let's say Vrschika Rashi in the horoscope is associated with Shani or any Ashubha graha. And here, when we are talking about association, at times or many a times, you will forget one important concept here. You will think association means a graha is in that particular Rashi. Okay, fair enough. You will think that a graha is aspecting that Rashi, fair enough. But you should also look into the trines. You should also look into the 1, 5, and you can additionally look at the 7 apart from the 9. So even there, if you see Ashubha grahas, they will go through this. See, you will find cases and instances where somebody has a snake bite, somebody has a dog bite. Immediately, you can just tell that. The moment you look into the horoscope and you see Vrschika Rashi afflicted in the horoscope in some form or the other, which means a dog also, on a humorous note, is seeing your horoscope. He is not going to bite you then and there. He is going to see your horoscope. He is going to register the horoscope in mind and keep into account, okay, his Vrschika Rashi is afflicted. Wow. He will wait for the correct time. He will wait for the correct moment. Till a certain period, till a certain point in time, what would he do? Wow. That's it. He will go on barking. But when the time comes, that is when the dog bite will be there. So all of you who have Vrschika Rashi afflicted, else the 6th bhava lord and the 8th afflicted by Ashubha graha, then immediately you can say there's a dog bite. See, there is an interesting incident. A dog chased one individual, okay, and he managed to get away. 3 years after this incident, you know what happened? The dog, there's another dog that this dog had given birth to. And this dog came after 3 years and it bit him. See how interesting it is. which means that's the reason I always tell grahas don't keep the arrears. There, what on again a humorous note, what the dog would have done. My dear son Jimmy, my dear son Tommy, 3 years ago, I was supposed to bite this fellow. I had to leave him. It is just miss, I left him. But now, during this dasha, during this bhukti, you take over this assignment and don't miss this opportunity. Go and bite him. So till that dasha bhukti, it will again, what will it do? Wow, 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 that's all. But when the moment comes, that is when it will go and bite. So everything is based on the bhava phala. Everything is based on associating the bhava phala associated with the karakatwas. Again, write down, when the ashtamadhipati is beyond the seventh bhava, then dog bite will be in the evening, which means after 7 o'clock. After 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock or after 7 o'clock, right? As the sun sets, right? So if the ashtamadhipati is above the seventh bhava, beyond the seventh bhava, seventh and beyond, right? Dog bite will be after the sun sets, which means after 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So you can go to this extent and predict when you will have a dog bite. Is it in the morning or is it in the evening? So let us say the ashtamadhipati is in the lagna. When will he have a dog bite? He will have a dog bite early in the morning. The dog will chase him early in the morning and it will bite him, right? So this is how it is. So if the ashtamadhipati is in the lagna, at times, you know what? A rule will miss. So then you check, is the ashtamadhipati in the lagna or is he associated with the lagna? So then probably the dog bite happened in the morning, right? This is how it is. There's a person, Ashtamadhipati Shanishwaran is in the 11th bhava. And he tells that, you know what, a dog bit me twice, one in the morning, another in the evening. How is this? Because now Ashtamadhipati is in the 11th, so it is the evening, okay. But why twice? Ashtamadhipati in the 11th, what 11? 1 plus 1 is what? 2. So 2 times bite is there. This is the way we can frame. Now, you also need to check if the Ashtamadhipati is associated with the lagna. Obviously, Ashtamadhipati in the 11th would be associated with the lagna. So the dog bite was there in the morning also. This is the way it is. So does it mean that, you know, whatever you're telling here pertaining to this rule, it has to be 100%? No, not at all. 50% it will work, but these rules should also be kept in mind. Keeping this in mind, another thing that you can write, if Mars, Mangala, is getting into a bala in the horoscope, then the dog bite will be in the morning. Remember, Mars or Mangala becomes the Kalapurusha's Ashtamadhipati. What is the logic here? Not just with Mars or Mangala. Generically, you should keep this logic in mind. Mars or Mangala for dog bite too. But generically, what you should keep in mind is grahas which attain strength. What do you mean by strength? Grahas which is getting into a ucha, grahas which are getting into their own sign, whatever you call as strength. They give results during the daytime, right? When a planet is strong in the horoscope or a graha is strong in the horoscope, they would give you results during the daytime. Which means, contrary to that, if a graha is weak in the horoscope, so let us say a graha is weak in your horoscope, a graha is getting into a debilitation in your horoscope, not to worry. They will do wonderful work. They will give great fruits during the night. So let us say you have a horoscope and a graha is getting into a debilitation in your horoscope. Okay? You don't have to worry at all. Or you find a child or someone in the family who has a debilitated graha in the horoscope. And you can tell this person, sit in the night and do whatever work you're supposed to be doing, be it studies or be it some important work, be it filling in an application, be it meeting somebody. So you cannot go in the pitch of the night and meet somebody, but post 7 o'clock, after the sun sets, you can meet an official, you can meet somebody, and you would be able to go about and get your work done. Again, for those who have grahas which are getting weak in the horoscope, which means, for example, on debilitation, nishbala, whatever you want, you can look at it. During the night time, the thoughts will be profound. They will have profound thoughts. So if somebody wants to get into a meditative practice and he has a graha which is getting debilitated, you can tell him to do all those practices during the night, and that will actually go about and give great fruition, right? So their brain will be very active during the night. So all those who have Nicha grahas, you can tell me, your brain would be extremely active. It would be extremely alert during the night, but in the morning, you will be like inert. You won't respond to things, right? Okay. Now, we've just come to the end of the discussion on the 6th Bhava Lord in the Ashtama Bhava. So a student had asked me yesterday, sir, what about Viparita Yoga? Are you going to be covering that? See, it's a study of bhavas one by one, which is obvious that, all of this would just be covered without even you asking. Which means if the 6th bhava lord is in the Ashtama sthana, a Dursthana Adhipati, 6th bhava lord, is in the Ashtama sthana, which is in the Dursthana, which we call in Tamil as Kettavan, Kettidil, Kittidum, Rajayoham. What do you mean by that? Kettavan means a bad person. Kittidil, which means if he's spoiled, if a bad person is spoiled. Kittidum will get a Rajayoha, which means what? He will become a Raja, he will become a king. So does it apply here? Yes, it definitely applies, respected sir and madam. 100% they will get Viparita Yoga, which is what? 6th Bhava Lord in the 8th. What is Viparita Yoga? Write down. When the 6th, 8th, 12th Lord attain strength, when the 6th, 8th, or 12th Lord attain strength, right? If all of them attain strength, good. The lesser the number of them attain strength, you lessen the points, right? If the 6th, 8th, 12th attain strength, or if one is related with the other, like for example, in this case, the 6th Bhava Lord is in the 8th. So obviously he is connected with the 8th. They will definitely get Viparita Yoga, Viparita Raja Yoga. What do you mean by Viparita Raja Yoga? Does it literally mean that somebody becomes a king of a place? What it means is that somebody will get unexpected progress in life, and that will definitely be there. What do you mean by unexpected progress? You would be dependent on someone. You would be thinking that, he is my son. He is my prince. My eldest son is going to do everything for me. He will be a studious boy. He will do this. He will do that. Everything will look like, he is on the right track. And there will be one child. He would not pay attention to anything. He would be a vagabond. He would be roaming here, roaming there, not pay attention to his studies. His life would just go on like that. But there would be one particular moment wherein suddenly everything would change, and suddenly he would be the person who's the most developed person in the family, who's doing things which is unexpected of him. I'm sure you find that in each and every family, right? So this is what we call as a Viparita Yoga. So with this, 6th Bhava Lord in the 8th gets over. Now all of you can cast a horoscope, an example horoscope, cast a chart, and put 6th Bhava Lord in the 9th. Before we go there, if at all you have any questions, one by one, you can raise your hands and I would answer your questions. Go ahead, one by one. PX 11, 1112.
Hello, namaste, sir.